favorite live show that's here on Mike Drop Sports and the show Steel City Live. Thank you for joining us. What's up, Za? Let's fucking go. Absolutely. Let's go. Here, as Omar Khan spoke to the media today from Indianapolis, live from the NFL Combine, we will talk about that and his strong emphasis on playmakers, and that's something that I believe that he's really looking for here in this draft. But he did mention also, this is something they're always going to look at is the trenches. So don't be surprised with some picks inside of there also. I don't know what happened, man. Sorry, Inger. I don't know, man. I have to look through there. But yeah, there's lots of different things that he was talking about today. Tons and tons of different things that he had spoke about. So we are going to dive into the chat. We're going to dive into this the stuff Omar Khan had to talk about. And again, when he mentions playmakers, what are you doing when you don't have a quarterback? And he did emphasize that several times also. Hey, we don't have a quarterback under contract. We're going to go at this. We're going to try to figure this out first and foremost. And I think that he understands that without a quarterback, this ship don't fly. And you can sit there and want to lean on defense like Mike Tomlin does. But, guys, we have to be realists in this situation. And we can no longer sit here and act like this isn't an offensive-driven league. Yes, you can win with defense, but you got to score fucking points, guys. And if you're not going to score points, you're not going to win ball games in the NFL. It is not the Bill Cowher days where you're winning football games by 3 points week in, week out, and you're scoring 20 points maybe a game. This isn't that time. Defenses are going to get stops. Defenses are going to be dominant here and there. But for the majority of the season, you got to put up, and I tell you guys this all the time, and this is a real statistic that you need to pay attention to, no matter if you're a fan of the Steelers or any team. If your team doesn't average over 24, 25 points a game, you're not going to be successful in today's NFL. That's where you got to be. To be a dominant football team, you got to average above that. You have to average at least 24, 25 points a game, point blank, period. You have to. And Omar Khan's emphasis on playmakers is something definitely that has to be a focus for the Steelers. It has to be something that they definitely focus on here in 2025. And we'll see how this all unfolds. But the scouting combine getting going here, getting moving, and the Steelers representation there. This is a good place where you're going to get some interview opportunities. You're going to get to talk to some players, get this pre-draft process really jump-started here, and really start to nail down who you would like to select. Another emphasis today that was brought up was the possibility of George Pickens getting that contract. Are the Steelers going to be willing to pay him? It seems that Omar Khan had a great exit interview, according to him. Again, guys, this guy's only going to get up there and tell you what you want to hear. So we're going to talk about that. Also, he talked about a Donald Trump line. He talked about fake news. And that's something I want to talk about. And Omar says there's tons of Steelers fake news out there. And I caution you guys steadily about that. To not play into some of this shit because it is just foolishness. It's just for hype. It has no basis behind it. And there are these people that report on tons of teams like this, tons across the league that, they have no real knowledge of anything. They're just really just lip service. And I caution you guys not to click on those things. What's up, sleeping lady in the house? He said nothing to me that I have any hope for this team. That's from Ted Jones. Ted, definitely. I can't disagree with you, Ted. I cannot. There are things that I pulled out of it, and they're talking points. But, guys, I caution you of this. Every interview this offseason from Steelers brass will only consist of things that they think you want to hear. Period. That's it. it may not have any basis, nothing from it. I'm just cautioning you. You're not going to get anything out of them. And I know people will say they're insiders and they know this person or that person. These people only tell you what they want you to hear, man. It's a tangled web of and it's a big game that's played outside of the football field, definitely. Mark Malone in the house, got to get a playmaking quarterback. Wilson and Fields ain't it. And definitely what Mark's saying there, Omar Khan was like, we want it to be one of those two guys. So that I want them to get Fields. Why? Because, again, I think it's the only option. It's not necessarily the guy that I think is the best person for the job, but I think it's the only option. But Omar Khan has to realize that he has to broaden his search and really make a conscious effort to really put somebody in position at the quarterback spot that's going to be there for more than a year or two. Somebody that's going to be long-term. That has to be your focus now if you're the Steelers. And I whatever the means to the end is, whether that be Justin Fields, God forbid, whether it be Russell Wilson, whoever it may be, you cannot pay them a boatload of money. You cannot give high-value draft capital for them. You cannot do anything crazy to bring somebody in here. And that's the part of the 2025 season that's going to be a bitter pill to swallow for Steelers fans. You can't do that because you have to focus right now on putting all your energy and resources into a guy that's going to come here and be that guy for a while. That's what you have to put all your energy into. That's what you have to put all your money and resources into. And they don't know who it's going to be. We don't know who it's going to be, but that's who they have to go out there and look for. And they cannot do anything other than that. All right, guys, we're about 7.5 minutes into the show. Make sure you're double tapping that screen, sending us out in that YouTube algorithm. Truly appreciate you guys joining us here for Steel City Live, only on Mike Drop Sports. I'm your host, Jason. We are going to dive in again. I brought up a list of topics. We're diving into already some of the comments here. We just left off with Mark's comment, Mark Malone. We're going to continue down through the list. Get your comments in there. I read them straight down through and try to get everybody in. I do skip some here and there. Just some of them you're talking back and forth and things. So I try to read all the questions and stuff. Feel free to talk back and forth. That's up to you guys. But I try to just go down through the list. So make sure you put your comment, question, and concern inside of the live chat. Zah says, just keep trucking. Fields is the guy. Y'all listen to the radio and ESPN too much. Stat watchers ruin the game. I think fantasy football ruined the game for fans. I do. And I know it's fun to play. And I'm not saying that it's not. I don't play it because I feel that there's a lot more variables than statistics inside of it. But I feel like what fantasy football did, I feel like it's fun, and it is what it is. But I feel like what it did was it created a generation of fans that are so stat and analytically driven that it's just they discount some of the things that make football football. They discount some of the things that make players great. And they overlook a lot of these things. And that's where I don't like it. That's all. Kuhn is JV to me. You talking about Christian Kuntz? I'm not sure who you're talking about, Ted. Played basketball this year. My team has lost every single game. Man, you need to get going. You need to be on my team. I coach, bro. We're pretty good. We've lost 3 games. We lost one of our better players, so we had a little bit of a hiccup, but our team's adjusted. We've got back on track now. So our playoffs start this weekend for our youth team. So I want to wish all the people in our Cheat Lake Youth Basketball Organization here in Morgantown healthy and fun playoff weekend. It's going to be awesome. It's usually really fun for the kids. It's fun, no fun when you lose, but it's definitely a good time. I look for my kids to get 2 or 3 games out of this, so we'll see how it goes. Maybe they'll make it to Sunday and play for all the marbles. You never know, man. You can get hot at the right time. So good luck to everybody. Oh, you're talking, yeah, Russ. If Russ didn't fumble that ball, maybe they don't lose that game in Baltimore. That first one, maybe not. The momentum swinging. I don't know. That's I don't know, but it definitely hurt. No doubt about it. Real dogs. Omar Khan needs some blame. All these moves just to finish with the same record. Real dogs, I see what you're saying. And I'm not saying Omar doesn't get any blame. But there's only been one constant variable here. And I'm sorry. Mike Tomlin's the head guy. He shoulders this blame. The record has been the same and over. And there's only been one steady during this time. And that's been Mike. And he has to take that responsibility. If he can stand up at the podium and be a hard ass and talk about that's why he gets paid the big bucks to make these decisions, and he can take it when it's good, you got to take it when it's bad too. And again, I'm not real dogs. I'm not discounting Omar Khan in any of the blame, but to be real about it, he's done pretty well with the draft. I think he could have done a little bit better in free agency, definitely. But the draft so far, I got to give it to him. I think he's done a phenomenal job there. Because what does a football team have to do to be good? You have to build the trenches. And I think that they've had a real focus on that with Andy Weidel, Omar Khan. I think that those two guys have really put an emphasis on the trenches. And it takes time, guys. It's not going to be 1 or 2 years and all of a sudden everything's fixed. No. Definitely, though, they have made the right moves. You heard Omar Khan talk today that Broderick Jones will enter the 2025 season as the starting left tackle for your Pittsburgh Steelers. Whether that's right or wrong in some of your heads, it's neither here nor there. That's the situation that's going to be at hand day one of minicamp, day one of training camp. That's where we're going to be. And I think the Steelers have made the necessary moves offensively across that offensive line to be really, really good. Broderick Jones is not going to be bad continually. He had a rough year, and a lot of guys that have Hall of Fame type careers have bad years. It is what it is. You can't judge somebody off of just 1 year. That can't just be what you judge them off of. In my opinion, a guy like Broderick, a guy that you took with high value draft capital, you got to give him some time. I thought that his first season was decent. I thought he relied a lot on brute strength rather than technique. I feel like, though, hopefully going into year 3, his technique is going to improve vastly, and he's going to combine that strength and that technique and really take that next step. And when do offensive linemen really hit their stride usually? It's year 3 through 5. That's where offensive linemen really start to get it. And I know people want their number 1 draft picks to come in and be that guy from day one. And that happens very, very, very little. Very small amounts of players come out and are just ballers from day one. Very, very few, guys. And again, offensive linemen, 3 to 5 years, that's when they start to hit their stride. That's when they start to develop. And you guys got we got Zach Frazier. You got Mason McCormick. They're going to go into year 2 with immense amounts of starts under their belt for young players. That's very encouraging. You're going to have Troy Fautanu joining the stable of young studs. That hopefully, barring health, he stays in there and really takes a nice growth step toward being that starting right tackle. And if all things work out the way that I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to have a fantastic group, bookend on each side with really great talent at tackle positions. And fingers crossed it all works out the way this plan has been put in place to work. So we'll see how this all goes. All right, guys, make sure we're about 15 minutes in. I need you to double tap that screen. We are aiming for 100 likes, as always, here on the live stream. Thank you for joining us here on Steel City Live. Let's keep going through the live chat. Rob, Fields is the best way now. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Rob says he's not sold on Khan anymore. And I can't I can't argue why you should be. I think he's done okay. I don't know if you have to be all in on him. I'm not saying that, but I definitely think Omar Khan's been very solid. And guys, when you're building something as complex as a NFL roster, and this is complex, it's very difficult to do, or everybody would do it. You have to give it time. It's like running a business or a corporation, or just for instance, the presidency, things of that nature, big countries, large corporations. You don't see the effects of what you did in the first couple years for several years down the road. That's just the way these big changes and big moves and things of that nature work. And I'm not saying that a football team you can't see change year to year, but it takes time. And Omar Khan has definitely improved this roster in my eyes. I can't sit here and ignore it because I think that he's hit on really great draft picks. I think Mason McCormick was a real steal in the 4th round of the NFL draft. I feel like Spencer Anderson, who is a guy that's going to contribute. That was a 6th or 7th round guy. I feel like getting Zach Frazier, the best center in that draft, in the 2nd round with pick 50 or 55, 50, I think. That was a real steal. That was a good pick. I'm still, waiting to see how Roman Wilson pans out. I think George Pickens is a phenomenal player. He just got to get his head out of his ass. He's had some really great picks. I think Broderick Jones will end up being, somebody everybody loves. I definitely think that. I think Troy Fontanu's a real stud. I think the addition of Patrick Queen was a good one, and I know many people think that Patrick stumbled a lot in 2024, which he did. He did at times. But let's be honest, guys. He did get better as the season went on, in my opinion. If you really watch Patrick Queen, you watch his speed, his athleticism, definitely got better as the year went on. Did he have his blunders? Absolutely. But Omar Khan's overall performance, I think, is a B minus going toward a B plus. And again, I think he could do a little bit better in free agency in terms of add-ons. Definitely think that that's where he can improve. But as far as drafting, I think he's done the right things here over the last 2 years. I have to see why you're blocked, Inger. I have to go in there and see. So I'm not going to add, and then you'll have 2 accounts as a mod. So I'm not going to do that. I got to go in there and see. I got to open up the studio. I didn't even see your message. I did read your message about basketball. That's the one I seen. I'm bringing in Mac Jones, Danny Dimes, Rudolph, and drafting Howard and Sal. Some combo of the above. And that's from Mark Malone. Yeah, man. Hey, you know what? I honestly, whatever is the cheapest option, in my opinion, that gets you to stay somewhat competitive and get you set up for 2026, I'm on board. I'm on board. And I'm not going to sit here and act like I would be like devastated if they brought in Danny Dimes. I wouldn't be, because I understand that 2025 isn't the year of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I understand that. I understand that this team is in a reconstruction process. And I don't think it's really going to look the same here in 2 years. I don't think it's going to look the same. When the Steelers take the field for the Super Bowl in 2027 after they kick ass in 2026, I really, really think that, this team's going to be nice, man. I think it's going to look vastly different. I really do. You can hold me to it. We'll talk then down the road, but I really think that's going to happen. He is still the head coach, definitely. That's why you got to deserve some of the blame. Daniel Barry, what's up? Hey, man, I break lots of fingers playing sports. I hate getting them pulled back in when they dislocate. What's up, DJ? Ted, Sleeping Lady. Oh, yeah, hold on, guys. I'm just deciphering through. George Pickens stopped catching. No, George just got out of it. He got in his own head, and he wasn't being a good teammate. And if George can fix that, he'll be phenomenal. But he's got to fix that. And I don't know if you can offer that kind of money to somebody that you're not 1,000% sure where their head is. Daniel Warman in the house. I agree with drafting the best possible player plus a couple free agents. The Pittsburgh, they'll be fine. Yeah, man. Definitely. I think that has to be your approach, and I hope Omar Khan sticks to that. That's how I look at the draft. Let's keep going. Go Birds from Roast. TD in the house. What's up, Gucci Goo? John Harbaugh or Mike Tomlin? Mike Tomlin, I suppose. I don't think John's horrible either. I don't think Mike's horrible. I just think that he has some deficiencies that his ego doesn't let him fix, and that's what causes the mediocrity. That's just the way it is. Mark Malone, man, I am high. I'm about as high on robusterous as I am on. Sorry, I can't decipher, man. I need to get my glasses fixed, guys. I literally have a monster TV here, and sometimes I can't even see what the hell you guys are typing. That's how crazy. I gotta get my shit fixed. I know you've never even seen me put them on. This is it for Jones 77. Robusterous. No more excuses. Roast know when they come to the Eagles. Laughing my ass off. Sleeping Lady, I'm obsessed with Cooper DeJean. He's a natural at his position. Eagles got a legend in the making. Yeah, man, I was so high on him. When I did my mock drafts, I had him going to the Steelers in every mock draft last year that I did. I wanted him to get picked so bad, but never happened. Let's keep going with the emojis. Rob Khan draft picks, A+, agree. Black and gold. Double clicked on my way in. It looks like we have a line that's going to grow together. Should we be going after playmakers or people that fit our offense? Arthur doesn't seem like he would use them. I think you just go out there and you get as many playmakers as you possibly can. I think that's a good problem to have. And Arthur got to be better. And Mike has to be better. And they have to come to a better understanding of how they want to approach this offensively. And again, I love the philosophy of being a run-first football team. That's not the problem I have. The problem I have is the lack of creativity, the ultra-conservative play, the lack of complexity within the scheme. Teams make fun of the Steelers due to those things, and I think that's what bothers me the most. Yeah, you do need a young gun back there, man. I agree, Mark. I like a gunslinging type Brett Favre type quarterback, like a Ben Roethlisberger type quarterback. I want a guy that's going to run around back there, have a fucking rocket for an arm, and sling that bitch all over the yard. That's what I like. Yeah, I want a guy that can stand in the pocket, though, too. But I want a guy, though, that when the pressure's on, whatever happens. They're going to be thinking pass first, get out of the pocket if they have to, and sling that thing all over the place. This should be a good draft. We have the picks. I agree this team will be different by 26, 27 season. I think it'll be vastly different. Also, I heard something before I forget. It just popped into my head. Omar Khan did mention that if the Steelers would have moved on to the second round, Cole Holcomb would have been somebody that could have contributed. So that was good news. I'm not necessarily sure that Cole is the long-term answer within that rotation, but that's good to hear considering the devastating injury that Cole had. Man, I never thought he was going to play football again, so I'm really happy about that. I don't think there's a lot of good free agents that are not overpriced. Yeah, I think free agency is going to be a tricky one. And pre-free agency, though, you get a lot of hype. A lot of players are predicted to be of far more value than what they'll actually get. Agents, players themselves, social media, whatever, prop these people up and try to boost up their price, their value, and in reality, they don't normally get exactly what people are trying to say they'll get. So hopefully some of those prices come back down to earth and things get worked out. Look at Patrick Queen. Everybody said he was going to make 18 to 20 or 16 to 18 million. And the Steelers got away with a very cheap deal on him for what the market was saying, from what people were trying to prop up there. So definitely something that could definitely, hopefully, come down in price with some of these players. Inger, this year's Lamar's time to shine. I say there's a bunch of reasons we win it this year. Dude, Lamar is a fucking turd, Inger. I can't stress it enough, man. He's a regular season darling, a nice guy, but he is not a playoff quarterback, man. And I know you guys that are Ravens fans are going to have great hope, and that's awesome. I want you to as a fan base because I think fans deserve to do that. They should do that. But man, Lamar Jackson is a polished fucking turd, my friends. And again, I'm not being too critical in my opinion. I've said it a million times. Until Lamar Jackson wins a big game, I don't want to hear that he's going to win a championship. I don't want to hear how great he is. I don't want to hear this or that about him. The guy is not good enough to win a championship. Sorry. He's just not. And I know people want to blame Mark Andrews. People want to blame all this other stuff. But when you throw a pick and you fumble it and you're the franchise quarterback in a playoff game, I think you got to shoulder some blame. I think you got to carry the load. I think you need to be looked at as maybe a guy that's getting paid $50-some million that's never going to hoist that Lombardi trophy. I'm just saying. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but until I'm wrong, I'm not going to, I'll die on that hill. Murph from Canada, Bills will take the division in Super Bowl next year. Josh Allen's another one. Hasn't got the big one. He hasn't won a big game yet. He hasn't won an AFC championship game. He hasn't won a Super Bowl. He hasn't done any of those things. So for me to sit here and continually prop that guy up, I can't. I can't. They've had chances, and that's the thing. I don't sit here and bash these guys until they get some chances. And I love the way Josh Allen played football. I love the way Lamar competes. I'm not saying that I dislike these guys, but I'm going to be a realist. If you've not been able to get the job done, then you've not been able to get the job done, and that's okay. I hit my light again. I'm moving that damn light. But guys, I'm not going to sit here all offseason and just praise these guys that don't have no rings, that don't have no big games on their resume. I'm not doing it. And I don't think you guys should either. Be realists and say, this is what you should say about those guys. They're solid guys. I appreciate their efforts. They play hard. They're great athletes. But I'm going to be skeptical. I'm going to really have to wait and see. I'm not sure if these guys are going to be able to get it done, and chances are probably not. I'm going to root for my team, but, I'm going to be a realist. And I understand this quarterback isn't the greatest thing since sliced bread like everybody wants to make him out to be. That's just the way you got to be. Again, you're paying $50-some million to some of these guys that ain't never won you shit. Good luck at practice, man. I love practice. Practice is where you got to get better. Practice is, and I know Iverson will say, Allen Iverson said back in the day, practice? We're talking about practice? Practice is so important because I'm a firm believer in this. You play exactly how you practice. You play exactly how you prepare. You don't want to sit there and watch the tape. You just want to rely on your sheer athleticism. You're never going to win the Super Bowl. You're never going to be a champion. You're never going to be at the mountaintop. You're just not. It's the way it goes. It is the way it goes. And I try to tell everybody that. You have to do the right things when nobody's looking. You have to be working when everybody else is still in bed. You need to be busting your ass watching every piece of game tape that you can watch. If you want to be elite at the NFL level, you want to be a champion at the NFL level, You do the things that other people aren't willing to do. That's how you separate yourself in this league. That's the truth, guys. That is the real truth. You want to know why Jalen Hurts won a Super Bowl this year? You want to know why that Philadelphia team won the Super Bowl this year? They understood that they had fantastic talent on that roster. And what did they do each and every day? They went to work. They didn't play bullshit in the media. They didn't do any of it. Yeah, they had their little hiccups there with Jalen and the wide receiver. But you know what? They quickly brushed that under the rug. They quickly got rid of that. But what did you see every week from them? The preparation. The way they were on task. The way that they prepared each and every week defensively, offensively, had good game plans. They understood their opponent. Those things shine through. And that's what wins championships. Do you think the Chiefs, with all those teams that they've had that have been highly successful, that's won championships, do you think that they had the best roster? Hell no, they didn't. What they did have, though, is a coach that works himself to death, that constantly is studying, a quarterback that's constantly studying and working on his craft and understanding. That's how you're successful, guys. That is how it gets done. Oh, bro, Busterous. Okay, I got you now, Mark. I can't say. Still, dude, I can't. What I did, I increased the font. It's a little bit better. So that's what I was doing when I was trying to read some of them comments. I was increasing my font on here, making it a little bit bigger. But man, I can't see shit. I got to get my glasses fixed. Steelers, 626. What up, Jason? What up, Steelers fam? What up, Steelers 626? Good to see you, Zach Curry. How you doing? Andrew Faulkner, laughing my ass off. We had Arthur in Atlanta. Couldn't wait to get rid of him. He's your problem now. LOL. I can't argue it. He didn't show me anything this year, so I can't disregard what Andrew says there. Snapping the shots collectibles. Are you Eagle? Do I look like an Eagles fan, bro? Do I resemble an Eagles fan? I have manners. I'm not an Eagles fan. Jonathan Stevens in the house. Mark Malone. Jason loves seeing Ravens fans' hopes and dreams being crushed in the playoffs. Yeah, it's fun. And I'm not going to front. I love it when the Ravens lose. I love it when the Browns lose. I love it when the Bengals lose. I absolutely love it. Love it, love it, love it. And nothing warms my soul more than watching them lose. Schadenfreude. You put all the... I love Mark makes his own language. He has to spell it out to me in there so I can read it. Joe Burrow, Tim Manto. I love Joe Burrow. I think he's great. Black and Gold, do we kick the tires on Jonathan Allen in free agency? Also, agree. Vanilla has been the last season's flavor on O and D. From the glimpse, I believe Fields can get us our first playoff win with added weapons. Maybe. Guys, no, I wouldn't, Tim. I would never. Aaron Rodgers is a fucking cancer in the locker room. And if he had anything left, do you think the Jets would be letting him go? Hell no. Sorry, guys. I had to get a drink. But, guys, I really have to bring this back up. And I want to be very clear on why I want Justin Fields. And, again, it's not because I think he's the best quarterback for the job. I think he is the realest option that provides enough upside to where you're not going to be in the basement, but yet allows you to prepare for the real show in 2026 to go after somebody for real. And I think he provides the opportunity that maybe he does boom. And then you just hit the lottery and you got him locked up for 2 years for a very cheap deal and you can add a shit ton of players around him. I think it's a win-win. That's why I think it's a win-win. Go Eagles from D1 Prods. Too much drama with Rodgers from ZA. Steelers suck from somebody. YT. Sleeping Lady, how much the Ravens paying for Lamar annual salary cap hit? Whatever it is, Fields may be expecting this kind of money in a new contract. He's very much like Lamar. C. Brown paying him that, not us. The Steelers won't offer him anything like that. Guys, Justin Fields, I think, understands his ceiling and understands his station right now. He's a guy that's going to get no more, in my opinion, than $15 million per year. Guys, and anybody that's a Steelers fan that sits out there and says that paying Justin Fields $15 million per year would be crazy, we paid Mitchell Trubisky $10 million plus a year to do what? We kept him for 2 years. So I think Justin Fields is way better than Mitch. So hopefully, they can keep it under there. Now, there may be some dumb team, like Sleeping Lady points out, somebody like the Browns or something that would go out there and pay monster dollars for somebody. Justin may stumble onto one of those contracts somewhere, and I don't blame the guy for taking it. Generational wealth is hard to come by. So definitely, if he's good with his money, getting a contract like that sets his family up forever. So I don't fault the man. But in reality, his real value, in my opinion, is $7 to $10 million. His 4-2 record, though, with the Pittsburgh Steelers as a starter warranted him probably, to be truthful, 15, probably a year is what I think he'll get paid. I think Justin Fields will get an offer from the Steelers initially, $12 to $13 million per year over 2 years, fully guaranteed. I think that's what the offer is. I think maybe his agent kicks back and says, come up to 15 and we'll do it. That's how I could see it working out. That's how I think things would work out. I think if you start to get into the realm of $20 million for Justin Fields per season, I think it's doable, but it's not something I would love the Steelers to do, because I think that $5 million that you could save if you paid him, around the 15 area, I think you go out there and you add yourself somebody, in that wide receiver room. You add somebody along that defensive front for depth. You add an outside linebacker. You add an inside linebacker. Maybe you go out there and get some safety help. Maybe you get a corner. There's so many things that you could do with that money, that $5 million that could be really, really valuable to your roster. Miss Pittsburgh in the house. What's up, Miss P? Wave those terrible towels for Miss P. Tim Manto, Fields is a Dollar Tree Lamar Jackson. And Lamar Jackson is, not very good, in my opinion. Yeah, he's good in the regular season. Yeah, he puts up some numbers. But the only number that matters is what? Lombardi trophies that reside in your trophy case. And unless your name's attached to one of them, unless your name's attached to one of those Lamar Hunt trophies, you ain't doing nothing for me, man. He's been there long enough, guys. He's been there long enough to get some money, man. To earn some of that money. Too Evil 2 Hope with the super chat. Thank you. Good to see you, Too Evil 2 Hope. Will Tomlin ever get a fair chance? Extend. Yeah, Too Evil 2 Hope wants to extend Mike Tomlin forever. I think Too Evil 2 Hope's right. Give Mike Tomlin a lifetime contract, guys. 10-8, 10-7. It is great. It's fabulous to be there, man. Good to see you, Too Evil. Thank you, brother. Always good to see you, my friend. Mark Malone, Smith didn't have a quarterback that can make all the throws last year, to be fair. True. I think he had Justin that can make all the throws physically. Mentally, I believe you're correct, Mark. Oh, sorry, guys. Mark is correct. Mentally, I don't think Justin progressed and wasn't in there long enough to continue to progress to make all the throws. I thought that he was making more of the throws as the season went on. But definitely, Mark is correct. Arthur didn't have a quarterback to make all the throws last year. Absolutely not. And I really had high hopes for Russell Wilson. I thought that he was going to come in and really shine as a veteran player and really have a fabulous ending to his career in the city of Pittsburgh. But that really fell by the wayside, guys. And I was really disappointed in the way he played. It was very flat, very stale. Very just weird for Russ to play like that, in my opinion. All right, guys, I need you to double tap the shit out of that screen. Send us out to that YouTube algorithm. We're just sitting here talking Steelers, talking draft, talking all types of stuff. Due to my grandmother passing away, I wasn't able to do mock drafts this week. I just didn't have the time to prepare. And I promise that I will do that. So next week will be our mock drafts. Maybe even by the end of this week. I am working on it, but I'm also studying for a test that I have to do for work purposes. So definitely that's something that I got to get done. And I work in the medical field, and the tests aren't easy. So I got to study, get my shit down, and get myself going here. So definitely I will get these mock drafts out there to you guys. But I need you to double tap that screen. Get us up there. I need about 8 more of you to hit that like button. Get us up to 30. We're always chasing 100 likes here on the channel. If you're not subscribed, I don't know what the hell you're waiting for. Join us here at Mike Drop Sports. Super chats always open, guys. Go ahead. You can put those in there. If you want your comment read and I'm not getting to it because I go straight down through the list, if you put the super chat in there, that'll get you for sure. I'll see it over here and I'll read it. But otherwise, I just go down through the list and I'll get there when I get there, kind of deal. I try to give everybody a fair shake of getting their comment on. Do you like the Texans? Hey, I'm living in Cincinnati. Yeah, YT, I like the Texans, CJ Stroud. I like CJ Stroud. I'm a Steelers fan. I don't like any other teams other than that. I'm not one of these people usually that are a fan of multiple teams. I like the Steelers. That's just kind of where I'm at. I like different players, though. I love the way CJ Stroud plays. I would love to have him on my football team. Then you think the Bengals are great. I don't think the Bengals are great. I think Joe Burrow is fantastic. I think the Bengals have a lot of deficiencies. I think the Bengals have a mixed bag of priorities in terms of how they want to spend their money, and I think that they're not working that correctly to continue to build a quality roster around a generational talent like Joe Burrow. Sadly for Joe, I think that they are just going to try to always keep monster wide receivers, at any cost, and not really weigh the risk of not having any type of defense to speak of, not having the proper offensive front, not doing other things is all I'm saying. I think that becomes an issue. I think teams have to be well-rounded. I think you have to learn how to spend your money in the proper ways and not overspend in any one area. Quarterback's the kind of an area you have to overspend. That's the one exception. But I think you have to be really smart, really frugal with your ability to control the rest of the roster in terms of financial obligations. And if you can't do that, you can't win. And also, you have to have somebody that's very creative inside of your front office in terms of being able to take big, exuberant contracts that require a lot of money each and every year and count a lot against that salary cap to find new and creative ways to take that money and turn things in to bonuses and roll money in and out to where you're able to free up cap space each and every year from those big contracts. And I think you have to have guys that are experts at that, and that is something that teams really need to have in their front office. So definitely money. That's what it all comes down to, guys. Jonathan Stevens, they thought they were getting peak Rodgers. Yeah, they thought so. They thought wrong, man. Zaw, the best of the best. Sleeping Lady, I'm no fan of Rodgers' off-field flavor, but warmed up to the idea of him with the Steelers. He can still pass, and he gets calls from the refs. Whoever is quarterback one must be capable of feeding young boy, NFL young boy. Yeah, here's the thing with Rodgers, man. I think that he truly disrupted the locker room in New York. I think what Rodgers brings with him is a media circus, and I don't think when you talk about NFL young boy, GP, the last thing that you need inside of that locker room is a media circus, and I think that Aaron brings that with him. But I can't get on board with paying that type of money. That's where I'm at with it, guys. And trading for an old quarterback requires too much money, too many draft picks, just way too much capital, man. and really defeats the purpose of what you're trying to do as a football team and as a franchise. We better be going after someone for real right motherfucking now. We're going to swing and miss. I hope we don't, man. I hope the Steelers really start to hit on some of these players, especially in free agency. Wave that towel from Miss Pittsburgh. Fields is a decent starter. Let's go Birds from Murphy. And Jason, I don't think you banned me when I couldn't comment because there had been a glitch going around YouTube where you can't comment on people's live streams for no reason. It happened to my friend. I don't know, man. I have no clue. We haven't. Sometimes people that are moderators sometimes have fat fingers and like will hit it and the screens are very small and the box comes up and sometimes it just happens. One of our longtime listeners got banned, Robert, and finally he got a hold of me. And he definitely never did anything, and I had to go back in and get him on off the ban list. I don't know what the hell happened to him. Somebody accidentally did it, but that's what I always say. Try to get a hold of me. I know sometimes it's difficult to get me, but I try my best to answer things. I get tons of emails and shit. I try my best to answer. Brian, bro, that whole Justin Fields situation is cooked. This just goes to show the Steelers franchise and organization don't know what the fuck they're doing. I mean, I think they've had a very rough patch. But to say they don't know what the fuck they're doing is a reach, Brian. They have 6 Super Bowl championships. They've known what to do somewhere along the way. I think that they've had a very tough decade for sure. I feel like the Steelers probably will probably be about 10-7, man. Maybe they get the 11th win next year. Maybe that's probably where they'll be, guys. Tim Manto, CFL season is starting up soon up north. Gotta love that 3-down football. Flex bones, summer ball. I've never watched Canadian football much, though. I've seen some games, but I've never really got into it. Justin is worth 15 easy. That's from Jonathan Stevens. Mark Malone's Fields was just one game over 500 and threw for Pickett-like production. He was 4-2, so he was more than over 500. He had a 4-2 record with the Steelers is what I'm talking about. Yeah, his touchdowns weren't crazy, no doubt about it. But I got to say this, guys. I watch all 22 tape every single week. I do. And I rewatch the games usually. When I have time to do so, I do it. Which is usually each and every week I watch it, whether it's a win or loss. I don't want to sometimes, but I do because I do this. So I try to watch it over just to have a little bit extra. And I got to say this, man. If you really watch Justin over those 6 games, he improved. He definitely improved. No doubt about it. Did he improve leaps and bounds? That answer's no. But he definitely showed growth, and I thought that was something that I couldn't overlook. I thought his decision making and the way he wasn't turning the ball over like he was in Chicago was definitely big growth. I think he could be far better, definitely, and I think he still has a lot that he could do to improve. But I definitely saw growth. Yeah, Zaw, I thought so too, Zaw. But we may be wrong, too. And I'm not saying just because I rewatch stuff that I'm right. I'm not. I may be skewed in the way I look at it. I might be looking at something that others aren't. And I might not be looking at something that's very important that some of you are looking at. So my assessment isn't the gold standard. But I do truly believe that he was getting better. The only fun round of the playoffs is the first anyway, I hear. Yeah, no doubt. That's what Mike Tomlin says. The only fun one is the first round, so why go on to the second? He don't want to go on to the second. Let's keep going. Maybe Urban Meyer can help. Urban Meyer, man, he's lost soul. Edit, the Steelers need to draft a quarterback in the mid-round this draft. Urban Meyer, yikes. I think that wish may come true, Tim. I do. I think, like we've been talking, a guy like a Jackson Dart, a guy like a Howard, those guys may be available, when the Steelers are ready to pull the trigger on one of those quarterbacks. So we'll see. Maybe trade for Kupp. A fourth or fifth rounder is his projected value. That's from Jet Highlights. I'm not opposed if that's what it takes, a fourth or fifth rounder. But again, guys, I'm not interested in getting too old. I think right now the Steelers find themselves in a situation where getting younger is what they need to do. Find really young talent and really do their build up that way. I understand inserting a free agent here or there is fine, and I'm all for it. But I think you got to be very careful about how old you make this football team. His grind game is top 10. Grind game? Oh, Urban. Urban Meyer, I forgot. Jet Highlights, if you want Kupp, you'll have to give up a mid-day 3 pick and restructure his contract. That's what would hold me back, the contract. I just don't want to pay guys that are older or have been used and abused in this league, for a lack of a better term. The Steelers are ready to make a run, so Tomlin will get the job done. Hey, that kind of rhymes. Yeah, the Steelers are not ready to make a run. I know. I know a lot of you want me to say all these things, too. There's a lot of people in the fan base that'll literally unsubscribe from the channel. The minute I don't sit here and say to you guys, the Steelers are going to win the Super Bowl, they're going to be so great next year, they will unsubscribe. I have so many people that email me like, you're a hater, you're not a true Steeler fan, you don't know what you're talking about. Sorry, I'm just being real. I'm trying to give you reality. I'm not trying to be an ass. I'm just trying to tell you the truth. I'm not going to sit here and say the Steelers are going to win the Super Bowl when I don't think that's to be true. See you, Za. I think the Steelers will make the playoffs next year, but be the 7th or 6th seed like usual in a stacked division. Yeah, and it sucks, It sucks. The Steelers squandered their chance. They had a fucking chokehold on the AFC North in 2024, guys. Let's be honest. 10-3. They had a fucking chokehold on that division, and they let it slip through their hands. The Steelers should trade for Kyler Murray. Yeah. He's another one that's so small, What's up with these little tiny fellas? These little fellas. Hold on. I got Russ on, guys. He's coming in for an interview. I want you guys to say what's up to Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson's here tonight for an interview. What's up, Russ? How are you, my friend? How are you doing? Good to see you, my friend. This is a little thing that Russ, one of our listeners, Russ Oberstein, sent me. He sent me a care package. It's Juju Smith-Schuster. It's a little squishy. See? But wait, this is Russ. Sorry, hold on. This is Russ. Say hi to Russ, guys. Russ is here. His friend Kyler's here too. Kyler Murray's here. You know what we haven't brought out in a while that some of you may have never seen? An old piece of memorabilia. The bobblehead. It looks like Russ back there. Jittery. Shaking his head. But this is from... I always forget. Hold on. It says on here. 1975, guys. This was sold. This was bought at Sports Special. No, this was bought at McCory's 5 and Dime in 1975. And also, this picture up here, or this plaque up here, that is from 1970, I believe, or the 60s. It's very, very old. That was my father-in-law's. Jonathan says, I thought this was your job. No, this isn't my job, man. I don't make enough money off of YouTube. We're getting almost to 5,000 subscribers. If you guys like, share, and subscribe, share and like and send us out into the algorithm every day. Maybe I can make it my job one day, but definitely not right now, man. To be real with you, I'll tell you guys how much I make. Probably like $200 a month I make off of YouTube. After YouTube takes their cut, so I probably make about $200 a month. I get paid to do this, but not very much. And usually what I do get paid is off super chats and things like that. So that's just donations from you guys. If you don't ever want YouTube to take some of the money that when you donate, I do have Venmo and things like that. So if you're so inclined, I'm not saying you have to, but YouTube does take a large cut. That's in our bio. You can do that if you wish, but they do take a large cut. So sometimes if I get like a $5 super chat, $4.99, I probably get like $2.99 of that, so they do take a big chunk. I got a $50 super chat one time, like $49.99, and I think I got like $39 of it or something. Ain't that crazy shit? It's like, what does YouTube even do for me? I don't know. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up. I'm sorry, we're almost to our hour. We do it. Hey, it's a long week. We'll get to all our topics. I feel like we get off on tirades, man, and we don't get all the topics that I want to talk about. So maybe we'll start taking Fridays and do that. So tomorrow, if you're not subscribed to or following our Facebook page, go ahead and do so, because I am going to have Facebook up on our screen right here tomorrow, and we are going to try to take audio calls from Facebook, from the Mic Drop Sports page. So what you would do is go into Messenger, and there's a little phone icon, and you should be able to call an audio call in, and we should be able to let everybody listen, and we're going to try it. We're going to see how it goes. So thank you. Thanks, man. Thanks, Jet. Appreciate you. Thanks, TD. What's up, Thomas? What's up, Leo? Nah, neither. I wouldn't want neither. But we're going to do that. Guys, if I didn't get to your chat, I apologize. Again, I just go straight down through the list. But tomorrow, I'm going to have that up there. My Facebook will be up here and ready to roll. So we're going to try it. If it sounds like shit, it sounds like shit. We won't do it, okay? So it's just a way to maybe see if we can get some of you guys to get your voice heard on the channel. We'll do it better when we move to another platform in terms of how we stream. But for now, we're going to try it. So thank you guys. Appreciate you. We'll be back tomorrow. Another great night. Thank you for all the support. So peace, guys.